I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. I'm excited to be here and chat with you. It's been a little while because I have been super duper busy, and like the kind of busy where you get up at like 5:30 in the morning and aren't done till 9 o'clock at night. That's been my busy for the last week. So, but I mean, super productive, but busy. So I'm very, very excited to chat with you guys and just get back to the normal routine here. So today we're talking about what does it mean to take your thoughts captive? Uh, I love this topic because it's had a huge, huge impact on my life and has changed, like where I was to where I am now has changed because of taking my thoughts captive. Okay. So when we move, we find ourselves in a completely new situation, which can be great or it can be really hard. And most of that depends on what thoughts we pick. I know it sounds really weird, um, but our thoughts determine so much. Okay. So our thoughts determine how we see a situation. Our thoughts determine our view of other people. Our thoughts determine how we interpret what other people are thinking or why they acted the way that we did. Our thoughts kind of set like the basis for how we see our world. And everyone sees their world a little bit differently from a little bit different angle. And it's our thoughts that behind it that have a lot of power. Because the cool thing that I just learned is that like when our brain doesn't know the whole story, it will make up something to make it make sense, right? So like let's say like a person interacted with us really weird and then they left early and now we're here with the circle, like our brain doesn't know like the reason why or something like, and it could be like, oh, they're not feeling good, they're probably need to take a break. Okay, that's one way our brain could think of it. Or they say, okay, they're acting weird, they left early, and then our brain can say, oh my gosh, they must be super upset with me, right? That's another way we can like finish that. So our brain will finish that circle, but our brains naturally like finish the circle. They look for like the reason behind it. um, so our thoughts are super, super important. Okay, so here's an example. Okay, when we move, sometimes we can feel completely alone and like everything has changed, right? So we have these thoughts like, I'm all alone. I have to do all of this by myself. I feel like I'm drowning in daily tasks. I need to sacrifice like what I want, what I need, what I desire in order to just keep things going, to keep the this life afloat, right? The boat afloat. We can have these feelings. Um, and so those thoughts that we have, if we're focusing on all these like negative things, those thoughts will keep us there, right? So if you're focusing on like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm drowning, and just like that's replaying in your mind like a merry-go-round, it's going to keep you there. It's going to keep you exactly where you don't want to be. Okay. So our thoughts of overwhelm will attract more overwhelm because our brains are like little problem solvers. Okay, if we're thinking of overwhelm, we're going to look out and we're going to see the little things in our world that are all overwhelmed. Okay, so what does it mean to take your thoughts captive? Okay, for me, it's a place of not judgment. Okay, no judgment. We don't need to say like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about that overwhelm again. Like I can't get off this track. Like, oh, I don't know why I'm still thinking about that. That's actually just more negative talk. Okay. So notice it, right? Because we don't need to add shame or judgment to our thoughts. Let's say, notice it like, oh man, like I was just concentrating on all of this overwhelm right now. Okay. And so what this the take your thoughts captive is from the Bible. So my interpretation of the Bible, because I feel like it's different for everyone who reads it, is to notice, right? Notice your thoughts and then pick a better one. So notice, if let's use like feeling alone, okay? Notice that you have this thought of, I am so alone. And then just be like, oh, I'm concentrating here. Let me shift that, okay? And pick a better thought, because your thoughts are what helps you go to the next destination, okay? So I'm feeling alone. That's a negative thought. And then transition, like, I choose to show up well. I choose to look for opportunities to connect. I see my need for connection, and I choose to fill that need, right? I choose to see the ways that I can meet my connection need today. Okay. It changes your focus from the pain to the solution, which is awesome. Like, our brains follow our instructions, and we tell it what we want it to do, right? So, and sometimes we get on these circles of thoughts, and we can think the same thought over and over and over. Like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm alone, I need help, I don't like, and we're on a little merry-go-round, and we're just riding the merry-go-round, round and round and round. So we notice, and that's us stepping off the merry-go-round and looking at the merry-go-round spinning. Okay, we notice it, and then we choose a different thought. So we get on something else. And when we do that, we're shifting and telling our brains to focus on something else, to find that other thing. Okay, so instead of finding the overwhelm, we're focusing on finding our supports, finding things, our connections in the community. And our brains are like, they're amazing at puzzles, so they'll put that puzzle together for us, right? This passage, take every thought captive, I believe is for us. It's not for judgment, it's for our good and for the good of those around us. So if you are like wanting to start out with, adjusting your thoughts, a good way is journaling, just because sometimes for me, I need a little bit more concrete action steps. So, write out a thought, like, okay, and then you notice it because you have it on paper, and then just write out what a good replacement thought is, or the good part that you can focus on is. So that will help if you're looking to slowly transition into a better thought life, because thoughts affect everything. So there also is, like, if you want to take a deep dive into more thoughts, there's a Homesick to Happy Movers group. And if you want to join the conversation, great. If not, that's cool too. But I hope you guys are having the best day and using your thoughts in the best way possible to create even more of what you want. So I look forward to chatting with you soon.